When my phone rang at 4:10 p.m. on Thursday, I knew what was coming. A message from a detective confirmed that my wife, Emily, had just been officially served with a divorce, right in the middle of her meeting in a swanky office in downtown Chicago. After 15 years of marriage, I'd uncovered her secret, and now she'd pay the price. But is she ready for my next move? My name's Jake Reed. I'm 38, and I live in Chicago. By day, I'm an engineer running Ridge Tech, a small but thriving company I built from the ground up. My wife, Emily, 36, is a high-flying attorney at Hayes & Stone, one of the slickest law firms downtown. We've been married for 15 years, met at the University of Illinois, fell hard, and tied the knot right after graduation. 2 kids later, Sophie, 12, and Liam, 9. Life looked like a postcard. Big house in the suburbs, a lakefront condo on Michigan, and careers that made us the envy of our friends. That is, until 3 years ago, when a single envelope shredded it all. It was a Tuesday late afternoon when I found it in my office mail. No return address, just my name, Jake Reed, scrawled in black ink, with personal and confidential slashed across the bottom. Inside was a folded piece of paper and a grainy photo. The note was short. "She's cheating on you." The picture? Emily, my Emily, standing in the doorway of some seedy motel off I-94, arm in arm with Nate Parker, a 28-year-old hotshot associate from her firm. Her head was tilted back, laughing, while his hand rested way too low on her waist. My stomach churned. I wanted to smash something, scream, confront her right there. But I didn't. I'm not that guy. I'm a guy who plans. I shoved the envelope into my desk drawer and locked it. That night, I smiled through dinner, kissed the kids goodnight, and even asked Emily about her day. She rambled about a big case, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. The next morning, I called Caitlin Morgan, a private investigator a buddy swore by. Discreet, ruthless, and worth every penny, he'd said. I met her in a dive bar near Wrigleyville. Dark hair, sharp eyes, no nonsense. "Give me a month," she said, sliding a contract across the table. "If there's dirt, I'll find it." She didn't need a month. 2 weeks later, Caitlin dropped a bomb on my desk, a thick folder stuffed with photos, hotel receipts, and time-stamped texts. Emily and Nate had been at it for years. Weekly meetups, late night, work sessions, even a weekend in Milwaukee she'd sold me as a conference. There was a video, too, shot from a parking lot, grainy, but clear enough to see them tangled up in his car. I watched it once, then deleted it from my phone. Didn't need to see it again. The image was burned into my brain. I could have stormed home, thrown the evidence in her face, and ended it right there. But where's the strategy in that? Emily's a lawyer. She'd twist it, play the victim, maybe even turn the kids against me. No, I needed to be smarter. I called Caitlin back, then looped in my divorce attorney, Rachel Woods, a shark Emily herself once called the best in the game. Add my business lawyer and accountant to the mix, and I had my team. Here's the deal. I told them over coffee in a loop high-rise. I want her to lose everything, legally. No slip-ups. This could take years. They nodded. Caitlin smirked. Years? I like your style. That was 3 years ago. I spent every day since playing the doting husband, breakfast with Emily, school runs, even the occasional date night. While behind the scenes, I built my trap. She had no idea what was coming. But on Thursday, March 13th, 2025, at 4:10 p.m., my phone buzzed with a text from Caitlin. She's been served. Game on. Thursday, March 13th, 2025, 4:10 p.m. My phone lit up with Caitlin's text. She's been served. I could picture it. Emily, perched at the head of a glass-walled conference room in Hayes & Stone, her Thursday briefing with junior associates in full swing. She's all power suits and precision, starting every meeting at 4 o'clock sharp, tearing into anyone who dares show up late. Then the sheriff walks in, boots clomping on polished floors, and hands her the divorce papers. "Mrs. Reed, your husband's seeking a divorce. You've been officially served." Silence. Her face flushes, anger, humiliation, as her team stares, jaws slack. I'd waited 3 years for that moment. I was at home, sipping a beer on our suburban deck, when my phone buzzed again, 4:15 p.m. Another text from Caitlin. She's locked herself in her office. Of course she had. Emily wouldn't storm home, tail between her legs. She'd dissect those papers like the lawyer she is, hunting for weaknesses. She'd find the basics. Irreconcilable differences, a 50-50 split of our $1.5 million house and a Lake Michigan condo. No alimony. Our incomes were too close. Retirement accounts stayed separate. But then she'd hit the curveball. Ridge Tech, my company, wasn't listed as an asset. She knows something was up. Emily's praised my attorney, Rachel Woods, to friends. A shark, she called her. A shark doesn't forget a $20 million business. She'd smell a rat, but she wouldn't figure it out. Not yet. Here's the kicker. 2 years ago, I sold Ridge Tech to a Swedish firm. $20 million bucks, wired to an offshore account in the Caymans. Untouchable by U.S. courts. Emily had signed a power of attorney years back, drafted by her own firm, giving me full control of the business. She never read the fine print. She trusted me. I'd filed the sale on our joint taxes. Her signature's there too, buried in the paperwork she skimmed. She'd have no claim to it now, and her legal brain would spin trying to crack how I'd pulled it off. That was strike one. Back at the house, I waited. The garage door rumbled at 8:15 p.m., 4 hours after the serve. Emily's heels clicked through the kitchen, sharp and deliberate. She checked the living room, my office, then stopped in the dining room doorway. I'd set the stage, me at one end of the table, a single chair at the other, a glass of her favorite Pinot Noir poured and waiting. She sat, raised the glass with a tight, "Thanks," and took a long sip. Her eyes burned into me. "I don't want a divorce," she said, voice steady but edged. "I don't want a cheating wife." I shot back, louder than I meant to. She flinched, then straightened. "Let's talk like adults, Jake." "Yes, I had an affair, but I'm not some cheap cheat." I laughed. Couldn't help it. "You've said 100 times, only a cheat sneaks around." "Your words, Em." Her face went red, breath huffing through her nose. She was dying to lash out, but she swallowed it. "Why'd you have to ruin Nate's life?" "His kids." "Don't." I cut in, leaning forward. "Nate didn't care about my family when he was screwing you. His wife, Laura? Stunning. She'll find someone new, someone who's not a dirtbag." Emily's jaw clenched. "You're being crude. It's not helping." I grinned, slow and cold. "I'm not here to help. If you don't like it, leave. I won't stop you." She stayed put. "How long have you known?" I slid the anonymous letter and photo across the table, the same ones from 3 years ago. She scanned them, eyes widening at the postmark. 3 years? You've known for 3 years and did nothing. I leaned back, smirking. "Oh, I've done plenty. You had 4 hours to prep for this. I've had 3 years. Her confidence flickered. She had no idea what was coming next. Friday, March 14th, 2025, 9:32 a.m. My phone rang, Emily's name flashing on the screen. I let it go to voicemail, smirking as I sipped my coffee on the deck. She'd spent all night with those divorce papers, probably rallying her legal posse at Hayes and Stone by now. The message popped up a minute later, her voice sharp, trembling with rage. "Jake, where the hell is my watch? Call me back. Now." I chuckled. Strike two had landed. The watch wasn't just any timepiece. It was a Patek Philippe from 1892, a family heirloom passed down through Emily's maternal line, appraised at $100,000. She called it her talisman, pulling it from our bank safe every Christmas to display on a velvet stand in the living room. Guests gawked. She beamed. Last January, after the holidays, she'd been swamped at work. "Jake, can you drop at the bank before your Tampa trip?" she'd asked, distracted, tossing me the keys. "Sure," I'd said, smiling. I didn't take it to the bank. It sat in a lockbox in my office instead, gathering dust for a year. She hadn't noticed until now. I called her back at 10:15, leaning against the railing, the Chicago skyline hazy in the distance. "What watch?" I asked, feigning confusion. "Don't play dumb," she snapped. "The Patek. It's not in the safe. The last access was me, December 23rd, pulling it out." "Where is it?" I let the silence stretch, then said, "I put it in your trunk last year, same as always." "You drove off to work. What are you trying to pull in?" She gasped, a mix of fury and panic. "You're lying." "I know if—" "Oh God, Jake, why are you doing this?" "Doing what?" I said, voice flat. "You lost your precious toy. Not my problem." She sobbed, actual tears, a rarity for her. "Please, Jake, it's all I have left of Grandma Claire. Just give it back." I hung up, unfazed. She'd figure out soon enough there was no proof I'd taken it. No bank logs, no witnesses. The safe was in both our names. I'd cover my tracks. By noon, my phone buzzed again, Caitlin this time. Nate's been served, she texted. I grinned. 2 weeks back, Caitlin had met Laura, Nate's wife, at a coffee shop in Lincoln Park. She'd handed over the full dossier. 3 years of photos, videos, motel receipts. Laura, a knockout with a steel spine, hired Rachel Woods on the spot. Nate's divorce papers hit him at 11:45 a.m., citing infidelity, complete with Caitlin's report attached. Emily's war counsel at Hayes and Stone would have been scrambling, plotting my downfall, when Nate's news crashed their party. 2 marriages imploding in 24 hours. Perfect chaos. Emily called again at 3 p.m., calmer but venomous. You're a bastard, Jake. Dragging Nate into this? His kids, save it. I cut in. He didn't care about my kids when he was with you. Laura's filing because of your mess. Own it. She hissed. You'll pay for this. My team's already found holes in your petition. Ridge Tech is missing. That's a mistake Rachel won't live down. I laughed loud and sharp. You think that's a mistake? Keep it jigging, immunacia. You'll love what you find. She hung up, probably racing to her office to triple-check the sale docs. She'd see the power of attorney, the tax filings, her signatures everywhere, but the $20 million was long gone, legally mine. Then there was the watch. She'd suspect I had it, maybe even call the cops, but suspicion's not evidence. I poured a bourbon, picturing her pacing, fuming, grasping at straws. She thought she knew my game. She didn't know the half of it. Monday, June 9th, 2025. The courtroom in downtown Chicago buzzed with low murmurs as Emily's legal team strutted in. 3 suits from Hayes and Stone, plus an outside divorce attorney she'd hired, a bulldog named Victor Klein. She sat at the plaintiff's table, chin high, eyes locked on me like I was prey. I'd seen that look before, her I'm going to win face. She thought she had me cornered. For 3 months since the serve, she'd thrown everything at me. Motions, subpoenas, even a police report about the missing Patek Philippe watch. Her ace? Ridge Tech's absence from the asset list. She was sure Rachel Woods had screwed up. She was wrong. I sat with Rachel, calm as a lake, sipping water. Emily's crew had spent weeks digging into the $20 million sale, my power of attorney, the offshore accounts, the tax filings she'd signed. They'd found the paper trail, but couldn't touch the money. Victor stood first, voice booming. Your Honor, Mr. Reed's petition omits his company, Ridge Tech, sold for $20 million. We contend it's a marital asset, hidden fraudulently. Rachel smirked beside me. The judge, a gray-haired woman with zero patience, peered over her glasses. Counselor Wood's response? Rachel rose, smooth as silk. Your Honor, Ridge Tech was sold 2 years ago, legally, under a power of attorney Mrs. Reed signed in 2018, drafted by her own firm. The proceeds were invested offshore, reported on joint taxes she also signed. No fraud. It's hers to disprove. Emily's face twitched. She whispered to Victor, who waved a hand. We'll show she was coerced, signed under oath. Rachel cut in, sliding the tax docs across. She's a senior partner. She knew what she was signing. The judge nodded, unimpressed. Next, Victor pivoted. The Patek Philippe watch, valued at $100,000, vanished from a joint safe. Mr. Reed's the last known handler. Rachel didn't flinch. No evidence ties my client to its disappearance. Mrs. Reed claims he placed it in her trunk January 24. She reported it missing March 25. Where's the proof? Emily's eyes narrowed. She knew I had it, somewhere, but the bank logs only showed her access. Strike 2 was holding. Then Rachel dropped the hammer. Your Honor, we have evidence Mrs. Reed's conduct justifies this divorce. She clicked a remote, and a speaker hummed to life. Emily's voice, clear as day. 3 years, Nate. I've lied to Jake for 3 years. He's clueless. Gasps rippled through the room. It was from a call Caitlin had tapped, legally, with a court order after I'd filed. Nate's reply followed. He'll never know. The judge's eyebrows shot up. Emily went white, gripping the table. Victor stammered. Objection. Relevance. Overruled, the judge snapped. Infidelity's on the table. The recording played on, dates, motels, Emily laughing about stress relief. Her team sank lower with every word. Hayes and Stone would ditch her after this. No firm keeps a liability. Nate's divorce had already tanked him. Laura's filing, backed by Caitlin's dossier, left him jobless and alone. Emily's career was next. The judge called a recess, but the damage was done. I caught Emily's glare as she stormed out, pure venom. I just smiled. Later, in Tampa, I lounged on my condo balcony, Gulf breeze in my face, bourbon in hand. The hearing wrapped that week. Ridge Tech stayed mine, the watch stayed missing, and Emily's infidelity was public record. She fought, but her roadblocks crumbled. I'd won legally, cleanly. She lost everything: reputation, lover, leverage. Strike 3. October 17th, 2035. 10 years had slipped by since the divorce went final. I'd settled into a quiet life in Tampa. Condo on the Gulf, consulting gigs, weekends with Sophie and Liam when they flew down from Chicago. Emily fought me tooth and nail back in 25, dragging out court dates, sicking cops on me over that Patek Philippe watch, but it all fell apart. The judge ruled in my favor. Ridge Tech's $20 million was mine. Her infidelity tanked her case. And the watch? Insufficient evidence, they said. I'd won, fair and square. She lost her senior partnership, her reputation, even Nate, who slunk off after his own divorce. Karma's a slow burn, but it hits hard. Last week, Sophie called, voice tight. Dad, Mom's sick. Breast cancer, advanced. She's in hospice. She wants to see you. I paused, staring at the Gulf's endless blue. Hate had faded years ago. It takes too much energy. I'll be there, I said. 2 days later, I walked in her room at a Chicago hospice. Dim lights, antiseptic air, Emily frail under a thin blanket. She slept, chest rising slow. I sat, watching her, memories flooding back. College nights, our kids' births, the good years before that motel photo, shattered all. An hour passed. I was lost in thought when her eyes fluttered open. Jake, she rasped, a faint smile tugging her lips. You were right. I leaned in, brow raised. Always am. About what? Her smile flickered. You said I'd hate you by the end. I did for years. All the awful stuff I did. I am ashamed. I nodded, throat tight. Hated you too, Em. Took a while to let it go. She chuckled, weak but real. Guess we're even. We talked. 2 hours of old stories. Laughs about Sophie's stubborn streak, Liam's science fairs. No anger, just echoes of who we'd been. She dozed off mid-sentence. I stayed, letting her rest. Brian, our son, arrived with his wife, Sue, and their kids, 3 little tornadoes who lit up the room. Emily woke, beaming at them. I stepped back, giving them space, but she called me as I reached the door. Jake, one favor? Brian ushered his crew out, leaving us alone. The watch, she said, eyes soft. Give it to the kids, Sophie and Brian's families. Let them share it at Christmas. I nodded. Done. She sighed, relieved, and I left, kissing her forehead, a quiet goodbye to my only bride. She passed 3 days later. That Friday after Thanksgiving, I was at Sophie's house in Evanston. The place buzzed, Brian's family, Sophie's husband, their kids, all decorating. 2 12-foot trees flanked a table draped in red cloth. 3 rows of poinsettias out front. On top sat the Patek Philippe, gleaming under lights. I kept it safe all those years, never selling it, waiting for this. Sophie hugged me, teary. Mom loved this thing. Brian clapped my shoulder. Thanks, Dad. I stepped back, watching them fuss over it, tears prickling my eyes. Emily used to stand there, crying too, calling it her happy place. Now it was theirs. Driving home, I felt lighter. Emily paid for her choices. Career gone, years alone, but I closed the book. The kids had her treasure, not me. Revenge was done, justice served, and somehow, we'd found peace. Life moves on.